Egypt thought Italian student was British spy, tortured and murdered him. Report, The Japan Times.
Here's a summary of the article.
Rome, Egyptian police arrested and beat an Italian student who was later found murdered because they thought he was a British spy, according to fresh testimony reported by Italian newspapers on Sunday. The account of how Giulio Regeni, a 28-year-old doctoral researcher at Britain's Cambridge University, disappeared in Cairo in January 2016 came from a witness who overheard an Egyptian intelligence agent speaking about the Italian guy. La Repubblica newspaper said, "The Italian Foreign Ministry tweeted Sunday that it supports the Rome prosecutor's request for information, in the strong hope that it contributes to the path of justice for Giulio Regeni." Regeni's body was found days later by a roadside bearing extensive marks of torture in a case that strained the traditionally close relations between Cairo and Rome, which has accused Egypt of insufficient cooperation in the probe. Italian prosecutors believe the new testimony is credible and have sent it along with other details to Egyptian prosecutors, requesting in particular the agent's whereabouts at the time of the overheard conversation in the summer of 2017. Egypt has always denied suggestions that its security services were involved in the death of Regeni, who was researching trade unions, a sensitive subject in Egypt. Egyptian authorities initially suggested Regeni died in a traffic accident, but later said he was killed by a criminal gang that was subsequently wiped out in a shootout with police.
This post received a score of 56,038, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
A few paragraphs that in my opinion make it quite obvious that Egypt is trying to cover something up.
He was a PhD student investigating government repression of labor unions. Edit, source.
Oh damn, is there a source on that? Because if that's true, that's shady as fuck.
This article by The Guardian seems pretty informative on the state of unions in Egypt and how Regeni ties in. Edit, a quote from this article. While another writer at The Guardian clarifies. But I'd really recommend reading the whole thing.
Knowing Egypt was pretty unstable, he should have given at least the local government a heads up about his research.
They probably wouldn't have let him do it. Seems like a risky thing to do, go to a corrupt country and start doing things that would be seen as critical to the government.
Greater than Egyptian police arrested and beat an Italian student who was later found murdered because they thought he was a British spy, according to fresh testimony reported by Italian newspapers on Sunday.
Greater than the account of how Giulio Regeni, a 28-year-old doctoral researcher at Britain's Cambridge University, disappeared in Cairo in January 2016 came from a witness who overheard an Egyptian intelligence agent speaking about the Italian guy, La Repubblica newspaper said. Emphasis mine.
All the native English speakers in here can't figure out that British spy can mean spy for Britain and not just spy of British nationality.
Most people are not that obsessed with what is theoretically possible because the possibilities would be endless. He could have been the spy for any country for that matter. But he was an Italian PhD student investigating government repression of labor unions. So no one is even trying to buy the BS spy story from an oppressive government which clearly had a strong motive to assassinate him.
So now what? Someone has been killed over a misjudgment. How does Britain and Italy respond to this? Ignore it? Stern call to the ambassador.
Surely the ball is in Italy's court, unless he was really a British spy. The UK have nothing to do with this. Though if he was, they wouldn't exactly admit it.
You'd expect that the UK would respond to this, though if this is their way they could potentially treat someone they think is a British asset, subject, spy or not.
Maybe something like, "Mate, you're not even allowed to torture and kill spies, you prick."
Only we grown-up countries can have that kind of fun, mate.
Grown-up countries treat their captured suspected spies humanely, other than endless hours, days, months of questioning and attempts at bonding, and then later trade them to get their own assets back. I swear that Iran, Ironic, and Pakistan are the only countries in the Middle East region of the world that actually do this. Everyone else just acts like medieval animals.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.